Hello lovely people and very warm welcome. Today I am sharing my all-time favorite and most used art supplies, the ones I keep coming back to, and these are my personal essentials. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you have a lovely time with the video. First, I wanted to present you the Faber-Castell pencils. I have used them ever since I had to buy them for school. In art class, I'm really convinced by the quality of the lines. With those pencils you have the full range from 2H to 8B, I think. So you have the full range of covering precise technical lines to also rich dark shading. I used them mostly to make my sketches or pre-sketches of other paintings. Like here in this sketchbook I was drawing some thumbnails for a story I wanted to illustrate. I don't happen to make much pencil drawings, but I use them from time to time, especially when I need more graduated tones from the harder lines to the softer and darker thick lines. I also think that they are not very shiny. They are muted and matte on paper, especially the B pencils look very black. What is also great about them that they are not at all scratchy. They feel so smooth, and even the harder ones slide very well upon the paper. I personally find that they are good quality, they don't break. I think that they are very durable and a good companion for many years to come. If you prefer drawing with a mechanical pencil, I personally have always been happy with this Faber-Castell graphite pencil. This one is on the more practical side when you are on a trip, because it has a rubber integrated, and obviously you don't have to sharpen it because it's always very fine line, but you also can achieve thicker lines if you press a little bit harder. I personally like to use the B mines because there is some bigger range of lines you can achieve with the B mines. And also what I love about this one is that it has this gorgeous lilac color. I really like. It's a very nice design. Now onto my favorite color pencils. I love to use Prismacolor pencils. I have the 72 color set for years now. I use color pencil to make sketches or to draw little details in my gouache paintings. What I really like about those pencils is this smooth and creamy color laydown, and it's also great to blend. I am also really happy with the color range of this set, and there are, I think, up to 150 colors. I think there are a very good value for the price you pay, and I think today it is a bit easier to buy them online than when I ordered them years ago. It was a challenge to order them. A downside I see on the Prismacolors is that when you sharpen it, you have to be cautious about not breaking them. I think this is an issue with the Prismacolors, but I think for the price you pay, you get a good value with those pencils. Now let's move on to inks and fountain pens. There is one brand I do prefer above all the others, and it has grown so much in the last 2 years and also grown very well earned. It's Tom Studio. Everything they have is designed with dedication and love for our environment because of its durability and sustainable materials. The vision was to make things that last, to make pencils where you can exchange the tips and refill them with ink very easily. There is a very special system. You can dip this mine into your favorite ink, and over the last years I collected Tom Studio pens and I am so very happy with the usage. This is the Lumos pen, the Wren, and the Lumos Mini, which has only one tip. I find them so versatile because you can exchange the ink it contains, you can fill in your own ink. There is a vast range of different nibs or tips you can use, and in my opinion, in your hands you can feel this quality and the durability because they have this aluminum body and they are solid. There's also a brass version I really would love to use, especially with the Lumos. I write every day in my calendar and I use this plastic nib for writing with a permanent black ink, and then I will highlight some sections with another ink with the other side of the pencil where I put on the brush tip. For me this is the perfect combination, and I also think that for drawing with ink it is simply perfect. For writing is it perfect, for sketching, and it also makes a very beautiful gift you can use a lifetime. So I think it's not the cheapest option, but it is worth every euro I paid for them because the all-over experience is so great. Tom Studio has a lot of other different things. Also, I was searching for a good and special calligraphy nib, and here I tested out this G nib with this little metal magnet on the other side, and it is called the One Dip Wonder. So when you dip your nib into the ink, there will be more ink stored in this little thing, so you can write more letters with only one dip. Tom Studio is offering different inks, so beside they have also those lovely, very beautiful color shades in ink, and my all-time favorite is this beautiful shiny golden ink. Obviously you can also use it not only for calligraphy but also for drawing and painting with those inks. Also, I am fascinated by all the design choices Tom Studio made. I think the all-over experience is super beautiful. Let's take a look at my favorite brushes. I really don't have so many brushes because I haven't investigated more on this subject. I'm sure there's a whole world to discover, but from now I am very happy with the choices I made. Especially for gouache, I use the Princeton brushes. There are different forms and sizes of the tip, but I like all of them. I use all of them. I think they are doing a very great job in holding a lot of paint and preserving the forms they have. The round brushes stay with this very thin tip and they don't lose their form. So I'm very curious to investigate more about brushes. So if you maybe have a tip for me, please let me know in the comments. The other thing I use very often are the water tank brushes. I think they have no special brand, they are no-name products, but to make quick sketches, to go outside, to take them on vacation, they are my all-time favorites because I even don't need a bigger water tank to take with me, and so also I don't have to find or take away with me a water bottle or find a water source. and this is so practical also to take it out maybe in the morning when there's not much time to paint, and also that you can press and it comes out more water to activate the paint in my palette. It is perfect. The brushes are not the best quality, but I think the tips of the brushes stay in shape very consistent, and I have been using them for years now. Now onto paper and sketchbooks. By the way, I made a long video about all my sketchbooks. I will link it here in the corner. And now I want to present to you my very favorite sketchbooks I have now at the moment. One of the best sketchbooks I have ever used was the Hahnemühle sketchbook. I had this A6 one, and I found it very great for the usage of gouache and watercolor especially. Those thick pages have a perfect structure, but are not too structured and not too thick, but it is great to even paint on both sides of the paper. Another perfect watercolor sketchbook is this Etcher sketchbook I have. I love the design, I love the paper, but I am not really happy with this format. I really would prefer an upright sketchbook, but maybe in the future. At the moment I really like to draw with my oil pastels and gouache in this Stillman and Birn's sketchbook, which has toned craft paper. I am really happy with the structure of the paper. It is so very smooth and has a slight texture to it, and also the paper is thick enough. There is no bleed through, and it holds up very well the gouache paint. And the third favorite sketchbook of mine is this Rifle Paper & Co. A flower sketchbook. It's still the prettiest sketchbook I have ever owned, and I am also sometimes too in awe with this beautiful sketchbook that sometimes I find this sketchbook too beautiful to make simple sketches in it, and maybe maybe I think I have to change this, because a sketchbook is for trying new things and learning. This sketchbook is also suitable for any kind of medium. Moving on to paper I use, especially for my finished illustration pieces, I use the Hahnemühle paper pad. This is 200-gram cold pressed paper, and I personally find it perfect for gouache and watercolor paintings. The paper is glued on all four sizes, so you have to cut it if you want to take off a sheet, but I really like it because it gives a very firm base for the painting and it prevents from crinkling. This one is one of those supplies that makes painting feel very easy. I discovered oil pastels not long ago. I bought those two sennelier oil pastel packs used like new on Marketplace. Since then it makes me happy with every use. I have been painting on a wooden ground, I've been painting on paper, and every time I am so very happy with the smooth consistency and the texture they make. The color shades are very cool. Like this basic set is very practical, and this other set for portraits has very different and nice color range. Also, they say that sennelier oil pastels, like they are artist grade or professional grade, you have a very good light fastness and light resistance. So I trust this to be very nice for pieces you want to put on your wall or you want to sell. This other brand I tested are the Rubens oil pastels, and I'm also very happy with everything. They are also very smooth and good for mixing right on your painting ground. I have to admit they are a bit greasy outside, and I don't know how light fast they are, but in terms of usage and how they feel, they are also very great, and they cost a lot less than the other ones. I really love how easy it is to paint with them. You grab a chunk of oil pastel, you paint with it, paint over with another, and it's so self-explanatory. These ones are the Caran d'Ache Neocolor II, and they are not as smooth as the oil pastels, but they have another very cool advantage because they are water soluble. They also come in those very rich and bold colors, and you can put down the paint on your paper and then activate it with water. So it gives a very interesting range of structure and colors and shading. And I think they also work really well on every kind of paper, especially also smoother paper. What I also like to do is layer them in mixed media pieces, especially on top of a gouache painting, for example. Next are my all-time favorite gouache colors. I always use Holbein Gouache, the two types of Holbein Gouache, acryla gouache and artist gouache. The first time I tried them, I was blown away, especially compared to the student grade gouache I used before. So I always choose this art supply in any kind of sketch or illustration or finished piece I made. What I love about the acryla gouache from Holbein is that when it dries, and it dries fast, it is very opaque, and you can immediately put on another layer because it is permanent and you won't disturb the layer underneath. This is very great for some kind of illustrations. I went a bit crazy and bought all those colors that you can see here, but if I can recommend something to you, there is a basic set of colors, and I think those are everything you need if you want to begin with them. But despite of using some colors more than others, and I recommend a big tube of white, I really use them all. I really think that one downside is that it dries fast and you have to find your way how to deal with this, but I wouldn't recommend using them on a hot summer day outside. I have done this and it wasn't the best environment for painting with acrylic gouache. Overall, on my desk, it is marvelous to paint with them. The Holbein artist gouache, however, it is perfect to put on a palette, to reactivate, and I am fascinated by this, for one side, super opaque paint, and on the other side, watercolor look. It has the advantages of both worlds. I filled this gouache into a palette, which is the next on my list of favorites. So this wet palette is a mini toolkit palette, the Folio palette it is called, and I filled the very little mini pans with Holbein artist gouache, and I was really pleasantly surprised that it hasn't crackled a lot, and I haven't filled in any binder or something. If you are interested in this palette. I have a whole video about it. For me it is super practical to have all the colors I wanted with me. For me this is a perfect size because I can always take it with me everywhere I go. And whenever I sit down to draw, this is the first thing I reach for. Most of all for everyone who is using acrylic gouache is this wet palette. It really saves me every time I paint with acrylic gouache because I'm one of those chaotic persons who go away and let the palette open or let it sit there, and then like acrylic gouache dries very fast. When it is dried you can't reactivate it. This wet palette prevents from those problems. And what I don't recommend is to let it there for 1 week or more, because it also happened to me that the special membrane it has and the special foam, it began to grow mold, and you also can let the paint there until the next day and use it again, especially if you have pre-mixed some colors and use them again to go on in your painting. This is so very practical. This one has a very special place in my heart. I've used it since my student days and it was a gift from my family. And I also filled it with the watercolor pans of my mother that she used before. And I love this aquarelle. I think the brand is a mix of Lucas and Royal Talents. I really don't know. It's a mix of different things I've had for a long time. It's very well used and well loved. Yeah, I'm happy with this. My favorite art tools. At first I have this rubber gum from Faber Castell, and it is genius because it prevents all those little rubber pieces float around your paper and your table, and it can soften all the details and lines from the graphite pencils. It's a very basic tool I like to use. One of the most practical things I have in my art studio is this easel from Meeden. I bought it not knowing the brand, so I discovered it by a happy accident, let's say. So why is it so good? I think it's so practical because you can fold it in and store it away. I have it here on my shelf and I fold it out every time I use it. You instantly notice the good quality of the material and the workmanship. It is very versatile because you can take up this holder for your canvas, attach it to it, you can vary the angle, you can take off this piece of wood it has to hold the canvas if maybe you want to only stick a piece of paper with masking tape on it. Yeah, and yes, it has smudges of paint on it, but I think this is normal, don't you? Also, a really great one is this pouch from Delphonics. In this one I store all my travel art supplies. This one is very great to take outside. And it fits in a lot more of art supplies than you may think. This next one was a total game changer for me. When I first used acrylic gouache, I had problems with the paint drying on my brush, and then even with water it didn't go away, but then I used this brush cleaner and it really got rid of all the paint rest I had in the brush. So those were my favorite art supplies. I can't wait to hear from you which are your favorite supplies. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. And I will see you next time. Bye, have a lovely day. Liebe.